weighted blankets, and man, those things put me out like crazy.
I love my weighted blanket. Oh
Oh
man.
God, I think I'm just out. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
normally a heavy sleeper, but that thing just puts me down.
Yeah, and
Like
holds you
like
down.
oh yeah, like coma levels down. I'm just like not waking up for nothing.
Yep. All right, we are live. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 223, your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm Steve.
And this is X. Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Anchor.fm or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment. Tonight there will be some Star Trek. We do read all super chats on the air so long as they will not permanently demonetize my channel. And we do drink alcohol on the show. And if you're drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, let us know in the chat and we'll give some early show shoutouts as we go along. And last but not least, if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description. As a bonus, you'll get access to the exclusive Discord server where you can chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and take part in the awesome community that hangs out over there.
All right.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Yes, and this is my little bobblehead.
Oh yeah.
This is Baby X.
He's ready to host.
Yep.
He's ready to host.
Yep.
He's got some insight into the diaper industry.
He is ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yep. He is just a couple days shy of 3 months now. Yup.
Yep.
Yep.
Filling them diapers with great efficiency.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolute master at it at this point.
Well, you know, they say it takes like a couple months to a couple hours to master stuff.
Yeah.
So he's past the apprentice stage.
Oh yes, yeah. He's well on his way to journeyman at this point.
Yeah, he's a journeyman pooper.
Yep. He is. He's been awesome. He's definitely starting to get a personality now. He's smiling a lot more. He's having a good old time lately.
He's got a good taste in hats.
Yes. He actually has a flat cap, and he loves wearing that just as much as I do. So,
oh, really?
Yeah.
So they should have had him wear that, and then you guys could have been twins.
Yeah.
On there.
Yeah, we were twinsies a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So no, me and my son, we have twinsies leather jackets.
He's bobbleheading around.
Funny. He's bobblehead.
All right. Say goodnight to the people. Say goodnight, everyone. Yeah.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, come on, give him at least a smile. Give him at least a smile. No? Nothing? Oh. Oh. He's your mama. He's thinking about it. He's thinking about it.
Yeah, he wants to know.
Goes,
I think he wants to stay.
All right.
He's not spitting on you, so he doesn't want to smile.
That's right. Good night, kiddo. Mwah. Night, miss. All right. We have what I hope is a good show for everyone. We've got a lot of Valve news tonight to get through.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a takeover in the industry that is affecting me more than I expected to read in the news this morning. Let's see. We've got a little bit of beer news, both local and international. And we've got some Star Trek news to finish out the show. But first and most importantly, Steve, what's in your glass tonight, buddy?
Well, nothing yet, but I will tell you what I have to drink. Very first, I think I might open this one first and go big and go home. It's the Hop and Frog Froggenschlaschen.
Yeah.
A 14% Swiss style celebration lager.
Is that the 15.5 or something percent?
It's the 14.1. It's kind of like I think this is the Hop and Frogs version of like the Sammy Claus or something like that.
Okay. Hold that thought. So keep explaining it, but hold that. Yeah, I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll just keep going through the rest of the beers. If you guys haven't had anything from Hop and Frog, I highly recommend Hop and Frog. They produce some really, really great beers. In fact, their Otis. I think it's Otis Stout or something like that is like rated one of the best. I also have an Imperial Peanut Butter Cup Milk Stout right here by who makes this?
Ingenious. Yeah.
Ingenious, yes. I have not had this one before, but this is a 10.1%. And last but not least, and Jeff, people from the Northwest are going to get this. Jeff will get this. People not outside our area probably won't get it, but I have the Wake Up Tom Peterson beer.
Nice.
It's a Vienna style lager with coffee. And for those of you who don't know who Tom Peterson, back in the 90s and 80s, he was a very famous local guy who would sell electronics.
Yep.
And did he do furniture too? I don't remember, but
What didn't that guy sell?
he sold a lot of stuff, but he had all these super cheesy commercials
Yeah.
where he'd offer people free haircuts if they came in.
Yeah.
Clocks and all kinds of funny stuff. Watches with his face on it, the Tom Peterson.
Yeah, we had a lot of iconic for Portland, but a lot of iconic commercials, especially in the 90s and early aughts. You had the video only. It's been the same conversation for 25 years.
Oh yeah, they still have that on the radio.
It's
The
still
video
going,
only. It's
right.
still there. It's still there. I think it's the same one.
It's the same people. It's the same man and woman having the same conversation about.
They're buying TVs. They like have a TV in every room now.
Right.
And including closets.
Yeah.
They buy so many TVs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were introducing the your Hop and Frog.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I happen to have this interesting little can right here.
Oh, that looks very, very similar.
Right.
Same size, right?
This is the Hop and Frog Chorus the Quasher Quadruple Imperial Stout.
Woo.
15.7%.
Yeah, this one's close to that.
Yeah.
And I can see why it's in a small can.
I understand the 8-ouncer now.
Yeah, exactly. And I brought a snifter just to be special and have the proper glassware for this and everything.
For the second week in a row, I am not drinking. It's been 11 days now, something like that. But I'm still dealing with a lot of pain right around my rib cage, and under doctor's orders, I am completely dry. So I am going with about as dry as you could possibly get on this show, with starting with a bottle of kombucha from Brew Doctor right here in Portland. This is the Super Berry. There's a good look at that. Super Berry, raspberry, blueberry, goji berry, and oolong tea. So,
no, that sounds good.
Yeah,
I don't mind kombucha so much. I've tried some of the alcoholic kombucha.
Yeah,
I did not care for it, personally.
Yeah, it contains 0% juice and less than 0.5% ABV.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, look at this color.
Well, that looks like kombucha.
Right? In the pour, it has like this iridescence to it. At least from my side. I don't think it's showing up on camera at all.
I can't do a John pour here.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to be a high ABV, so it's not gonna.
Oh, cool. So between us, we've got like a 7%er.
Yeah, exactly. We can divide. Whoa, this is some potent smelling stuff.
Ooh, I like that one. Ooh, that is tasty.
This is powerful stuff. This is very boozy. It's good. It's got some great caramel notes to it. It's got some. It's not a stout, so it's a Swish style celebration lager, which I'm guessing is just a high ABV lager.
Yeah.
But like a lot of high ABV things, it's got some good caramel notes, almost some figgy notes to it. Something you expect from a big beer. But it's not like as thick as like a bourbon barrel aged stout or something like that. It's definitely a little bit on the thinner side, but still.
Yeah.
Really good.
Let's see. We got a couple shout outs to get to here. Novella Hub drinking an Adroit Theory Cure for Knowledge barley wine.
Oh gosh, I love good barley wine.
13.5%.
Oh, Edgewater Theory and barley wine.
Oh,
Those are two words I just want to get my mouth around that.
how can you go wrong?
No, you cannot.
Right. Jason's drinking a White Russian Nitro from Left Hand. That's a solid one.
I had one of those before. Yep. Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah.
8.9%. Big Sky's got a Voodoo Ranger Juicy Force Hazy Imperial. 9.5% IPA.
Nice.
Let's see. What else we got? Reverend sipping on a Double Tropical Smoothie Double IPA from Decadent. 8.9% and a 4 out of 5 on Untapped.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Is video only a Northwest thing? I believe they are only in the Northwest.
I believe
they're Middle Oregon to Southwest Washington. They're like Eugene to Vancouver. So I've never seen them or heard of them anywhere outside of like the Willamette Valley and then Greater Portland, which we just call Vancouver.
Vancouver, Portland Light.
Yep, Portland Light.
Yeah.
Portland 2.
Portland 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Lee is drinking a nice Aberfeldy, or Feldy, excuse me.
Aberfeldy.
Yeah.
12 single malt. Yeah,
Yep.
That's a good one.
Aberfeldy 12. Excellent.
Magic Rat is drinking one of my favorites, Jameson on the rocks.
There you go. Tech Geek sends over $5. Thank you so much. Evening, gentlemen. Good evening, yourself.
To you. I think. Oh wait, we have one more. Michael Stevens is a Topo Chico hard seltzer, which I've never heard of that before.
Topo Chico.
Topo Chico. Not. I've heard. Yeah, hard seltzer, obviously, but
right.
No Topo Chico. I don't know.
Jim Grady's got Seagram 7 straight. Excellent.
That's one of your staples for whiskey, right? Seagram 7. Yeah.
Water in the form of ice in a bourbon count. Yeah, sure, why not? Nick Myers, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
Sends over a $100 super chat. Thank you so much, Nick. Craft Computing, I've loved your content for so long. I thought I'd help out. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
That is awesome. Much appreciated.
Keeping our beer fridge stocked.
That's right.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, well, that's getting the evening off to a good start.
It is.
Let's go ahead and jump into a bit of news, starting with the one that kind of caught me off guard this morning when I read the headlines and was woken up by Twitter. Akami, or Akami, or however you pronounce it.
Akami.
I've always known him as Akami. I don't know if that's correct.
I saw Akami. I just remember, like, from the South Park episode where they bought the game, it was Akami Games Sphere. It was Okami Games Sphere.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. This is Akami.
Akami, yeah.
Akami, not Okami.
Anyway, this is Akami. Has entered an agreement to purchase Linode. You all know Linode. Probably one of the most prominent sponsors that I have on this channel, and definitely a huge supporter of the channel, for $900 million. Not a small acquisition, although I will say probably less than I thought Linode would be purchased for. Little bit of history about both companies. First off, Linode started in 2003 as pretty much one of the first infrastructure as a service or spin up virtual private server providers.
VPSs, yeah.
Right. Yeah. There weren't a lot. Cloud wasn't a word yet. They were just hey, do you need to host a server? Well, we'll host it for you kind of thing. And that always did quite well for them. And in fact, today they provide just about any service you could want. Block storage and, software as a service, infrastructure as a service, application hosting, all kinds of fun stuff. So they've been around for a while and have obviously been quite successful. And have always been independent, have never taken money from outside sources. They've, built their own business, and it's quite impressive. Akami is a fairly large player in the hosted data center field. You might not know their name, but I guarantee you log into an Akami server literally every day. Akami is what I know them most for, and I'm not sure if this is like their core business or just part of it, but what I know them for is for content mirroring or server mirroring or geolocation diversification. Essentially, Akami hosts data centers that host mirrors for content that you go to. Right. The two that are closest to me, I know there's one in Portland, and I know there's another data center in Bellevue, Washington. Those are the local hosts for Oregon and Washington. For most end providers like Comcast and CenturyLink and whatnot for internet service providers, they are the local nodes that host Microsoft updates and Netflix and a host of other very, very large services. If you go to one of those services that's not a Facebook or Amazon data center, you're probably going to Akami. So as far as a hosting service, they are very, very large. As far as the business that Linode is an expert in, or has built a following with, that is spinning up individual services and being available to individual users, small and medium-sized businesses. Akami has no presence there. And so as an acquisition for Akami, this does make a lot of sense, at least from an outsider looking in. This gives Akami more, just another section of the market that they could start branching out into, and diversification is always good for any business.
It always makes sense when instead of like spinning up your own and having it, all the R&D being costly and then having to compete against people like Linode, you just buy them,
right?
If you can, and then you automatically have that tech, and then you can just try to integrate it into your system. Now, whether it's going to be a good purchase for them, 900 million, or was it? Yeah,
900 million.
900 million. Okay, that we're used to seeing numbers like in the news when we're talking about Microsoft acquiring like Bethesda and Activision Blizzard, looking at billions of dollar acquisitions. This is relatively small, but I couldn't buy it.
Right.
I mean, maybe for 800 million, I could maybe swing it. 900,
a
bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but, I was on the phone with my bank earlier today, and they said 750 mil max offer, and I went, I'm out. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Too much. Too rich for my blood. Novella Hub wants to know, is Linode still a sponsor? I actually had very, very short conversation with my contact at Linode earlier today. Yes, they are still a sponsor. Everything is status quo until we know otherwise. Now, let me see if they have... Yeah, here's the slide I was looking for. The reason I say this kind of makes sense as an acquisition for Akami is Linode handles cloud, VPS, personal cloud, small, medium business. That's their wheelhouse. Akami is full-on data center hosting. So if they can kind of bridge the gap between the two technologies, host Linode spin-up services in Akami data centers and vice versa, give Linode more places to be instead of just the 11 data centers that they have globally right now. Like, Akami has 11 data centers within a 500-mile radius of me. So geographically, this is a pretty big win for Linode if they end up spreading services like that. You get a geodiverse platform to host on, and Akami gets spin-up services that they normally would not have available to individuals, small and medium businesses. So it does make sense. And according to this, they're kind of wanting to keep the Linode branding, at least on the low end of things, which is where they've always been. And Akami will keep the branding on the high end of things. And as far as cloud and edge services, maybe they'll mix the branding. Maybe they'll combine them. I don't know. But for the time being, Linode is still a sponsor. They are still a service you can buy into. You
can still use Linode on the commode.
Right, drinking kombucha and So as far as I know, everything's just going to stay the same. But there's no bigger red flags during a corporate acquisition than we're going to keep everything the same. Linode was successful doing this, and they will continue to be successful. Like, you didn't just spend $900 million to collect the $100 million that they'll get in revenue this year. Like,
speaking from experience, I've I think I've been worked for a company that's been acquired at least 4 times, and they say the same thing every single time. Nothing's gonna change.
Right.
And at the beginning, nothing really does change much, but it's a slow creep, and eventually, usually there is a major mix-up or shake-up at the top end of the purchased company. Usually.
Yep.
So I predict that some things will change, but not too much initially.
Yep. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, at the moment, I don't have anything bad to say about Akami. Like,
it's not like they're an evil company,
right? And like I said, I've worked not with them, but tangentially with services that they've hosted, and been involved in some things around that. So
their headquarters is in a volcano, and they do have access to nuclear missiles, but they're not evil.
Right? They're not evil.
It was just there was a good market for evil genius layers.
Right.
When they wanted to branch out.
I mean, the real estate market took a crash. They jumped on that volcano secret island. They did have to resculpt the head so it was more fitting of their image, because it had the Dr. Evil eye patch and things like that. And you can't just be landing your plane in the mouth of that. You've got to completely rebrand. So they gave the volcano a little nip and tuck, and
it looks good. It's a nice friendly place now.
So we'll see what happens with this. Anwar says, cheers from Forest Grove. Hey, neighbor.
Oh, that's right. There you go, Forest Grove. Then he knows exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to. I think there was a Tom Peterson in Forest Grove area. There used to be. Well, his main one was off of 82nd and Powell, I think.
Yeah,
used to be.
Yeah,
but he had other stores all over the place. I think there was one in Forest Grove. They're all gone now, but
yeah. Volcano layers are super cheap. The current Evil HQ is all glass. That might be true, but I'm also going to have to, based on that, I'm going to have to redraw my plans for my secret lair. Like, I was going to go with the all glass facade, but I don't want that hanging over me.
All joking aside, I've always wanted to buy one of those nuclear silos that were for sale.
There was one a couple of weeks ago that was for sale in Wyoming. That was 8,500 square feet or something like that. It was 6 stories deep. Yeah. And I went, how cool would that be?
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. It's like, what can I do with that silo? I'll just put a big trampoline at the bottom.
Yeah.
Make it the world's largest ball pit,
Have the kids surfaced yet?
Yeah, I know. Just throw them in there. They'll come out by the time they're 18, I hope.
Yep. All right. Moving on ahead. A little bit of Apple news that I think is interesting, but interesting in kind of the reaffirming what we went over a couple of weeks ago. And that is that Apple is going to be launching 4 brand new M2 based products this year. Mm-hmm. But the iMac Pro will not be one of them, because they're going to be launching that in the middle of the year. So instead of putting their best silicon in their iMac Pro, they're going to launch the iMac Pro with the M1 Max and then launch like the M2 3 months later. Because Apple. Because Apple, Pro.
Yep. Because they have a built-in base that will buy pretty much anything that's brand new.
Yeah. If you want to make a 27-inch iMac, cool. If it's not going to be your bleeding edge product, or it's going to be obsolete within 2 to 3 months of launch, it's not Pro. Those things don't go together.
Yeah, it's Pro's supposed to be your flagship.
Right. Someone should tell Apple that. So this is the second rumor in as many weeks that Apple will be launching an iMac Pro sometime around June. With an M1 Max CPU. This will be the same CPU or very similar that is currently in the highest end MacBook Pros. No idea on price, but it is said to come with an incredibly beautiful display with as many as 4,000 mini LEDs and 1,000 local dimming zones in a 27-inch screen. So
I was looking at the specs on that screen, and it is pretty impressive. And that's one thing that Apple does do good is their monitors are clean.
yeah,
They're great. Their
always
displays are
loved
awesome.
Apple displays.
Yes, they're very good displays. Outside of their software, I'm not too big about that, OSs and stuff like that. But yes, their monitors are great.
Right.
But you can use those monitors on anything, really.
Yep. No, I've always loved their monitors. I've always loved. Haven't always been in love with Apple.
No.
We've had our differences. But I mean, I used an Apple display when I was in college, like 2003, 2004 ish. I had a G3 Power Mac, and that was one of my main desktop computers. And I had the giant 21-inch Sony Trinitron, the blue translucent shell.
Oh yeah.
Not the iMac, but the
right,
monitor.
The blue translucent, yes, the monitor one.
I had one of those and the matching tower.
I always wanted to hollow those out and turn it into a fish tank.
Yeah. Well, I had a number of iMacs over the years too. I used to run a photo business, and we used those for point of sale and photo capture stations because they were fairly inexpensive and they didn't need to be all that fast. I mean, we're talking, late Pentium, early Core Duo days, and I'm going, you know what? 700 megahertz G3 gets the job done.
That's fine.
So,
that's fine. Yeah.
So yeah, I've probably owned 10, 12 G3 iMacs in my day. I've owned a number of eMacs in my day. I've owned probably close to 12 or 15 of the first generation 17-inch iMac Intel units. I had a couple Core Duos with X1600 ATI graphics in them, and a number of Core 2 Duos with GMA 950s. Yeah, I've owned a lot of Macs.
Yeah. No, I think an iPad and an iPhone 5 are like the only products of theirs that I've actually owned and used.
Yeah.
That was about it. I've used their desktops before, and I've worked on them before, but I've never owned any of them.
Yeah. Oh. Speaking of evil layers, Google's in the news.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So do we all remember about a month ago when Facebook took the single largest leap off a cliff as far as market cap and company valuation in stock market history? Remember that $230 billion drop that they took?
Yeah.
That was because Apple decided to make privacy settings opt-in only. And what I mean by that is, by default, they're not sharing crap with anyone unless you specifically allow it. And shockingly enough, 97% of people didn't opt in. So, because Facebook couldn't just take all the analytics that they were collecting off mobile phones anymore, at least off iOS devices, their market cap plummeted by $230 billion. Well, now Google is set to do the exact same thing with Android. That's it. That's the news.
That's it. Now, I guess they did say that it is slightly similar, and that there's a slight change to it. And in fact, Apple is not being as pissy about it. I mean, I read the article all the way through, and that's what they're saying. Although it could just be PR, saying like, they don't want to cry about it or anything like that. Maybe. I have no idea. But they did say that that Google did criticize Apple's approach. So it didn't really like Apple's approach and how they did that. So theirs is slightly different. I don't know if it's going to be 100% you have to opt in type of a thing.
Right.
I'm not too sure exactly how they're going to implement it, but
yeah, it's interesting. And
it is interesting.
All three of these companies, Apple, Google, and Facebook, all have ad delivery services. Now, Google obviously has the largest ad delivery service. Facebook has some ad delivery services that you can use APIs and plug them into websites, but that's not really their bread and butter. Their bread and butter is going to facebook.com and viewing the ads that Facebook hosts themselves.
And they serve up a lot, man.
Right. And
So much.
And that's similar to Apple. Apple doesn't have any third-party APIs to plug into websites, but you can use Apple's ad delivery for apps that you create for iOS, and Apple will serve those ads for your applications. Google provides ads to just about anyone who wants them.
And any place.
Anyone, any place, anywhere, any size, any scale.
Yep.
So they all have an interest in collecting your data. Google obviously has the largest interest in collecting your data, although I might temper that with Facebook. I think it's more core to their business operations to collect everyone's data than it is to Google, although...
Well, I think a good majority of Google's business is their ad revenue service.
Right.
I mean, yes, they have their irons in a lot of different fires, but the one that's been basically solid the whole way that they don't want to touch is their ad serving service, because they really don't want to rock the boat that much. I believe that's going to be their biggest source of revenue, is their ad service.
Yeah. Anyway, Google is looking at forcing some kind of privacy change inside of Android that I don't think Google is going to bite their own hand off, but they're certainly looking to remove options for data mining from third parties.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what's announced. They said sometime in Q2, I believe, is what they were expecting this official announcement and details to come in. So sometime before July.
Yeah, the article didn't really go into too much detail into how Google was going to implement it, but I don't think that actually has been specifically announced at all.
Right.
Whether that's going to affect Facebook that much, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if Zuckerberg short circuits a little bit again.
Yep. All right. So
now that there's no alcohol in that kombucha, are you chugging it faster? Or?
You actually drank yours faster than me, and I think Steve froze. Steve? Oh, great! Zoom unexpectedly quit. That's always great.
There we go.
Hey, you're back.
Did you come back?
You're back. I see you.
Okay, there I am. I'm back.
But now that window came back. Dang it. I moved it before the show. Did anyone notice that today?
That you actually moved it?
That I actually moved it before the show. So I didn't have to drag the mouse onto screen again, and here Zoom goes thwarting me. Anyway, that was a straight up Zoom crash.
Oh, that was Zoom crash?
Yeah.
Well, because I know there's some people in the talking heads that are saying there's some compression issues that they're saying.
Which is weird. They're saying there's some compression issues in my little feed when I put my monitor down like this. I don't see them on my end.
So people want to bring back the Defiant. They don't want me.
Right. Well, I mean, there we go. I'd rather look at that ship. So it's a good little ship. So how is that beer treating you?
I'm actually really liking this a lot. But of course, once you get towards the bottom of a 14% beer and you're not enjoying it, then something's wrong, or you're drinking like a malt liquor. This is definitely sweet, caramely, malty, not too hoppy, just a very enjoyable beer altogether.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, 14% dark lager.
Yeah, 100% like a winter warmer type of a beer. Something that makes me wish I had like a big armback chairs and a fireplace and like John's new side of his set over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Bring back the Duras sisters. I should have had the Duras sisters on standby. I really should.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you, Elmist. Little. Yeah. Someone had to say it. All right. This kombucha, very, very solid. Like, really, really good. The nose is like a farmhouse ale. And I'm normally absolutely put off by that.
Yeah.
But...
Well, kombucha does kind of... It's always had that kind of dirty socks smell.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's a little skunky.
Yeah.
A little skunky. The flavor on this, phenomenal. There's
raw
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. raw kombucha is hard to take. I can't take raw kombucha.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever had that before, but kombucha with like fruit juice and stuff like that it's pretty good. It's really good.
Yeah. So yeah, this has raspberry, blueberry, goji berry, and oolong tea. I can really taste the tea coming out. Like it's a great little kicker flavor to the end, without being all that overpowering. But the flavor is not skunky or sour or fermented, farmhousey at all.
Right.
It's just good.
Some of that raw kombucha stuff that I had before, I could not take that. That was I've seldom dumped out liquids like that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I cannot finish this. This is bad.
All right, moving right along. We do have a little bit of Valve news. And I could not be more excited for how Valve is handling the SteamDeck. I'm ticked about the name because they know darn well they're stepping on the SteamDeck name, regardless of if they're similar products or not. One's a gaming handheld, one's an OLED, hot button thing that you set on your desk, but it still ticks me off that they stepped on Elgato's toes. I don't like that. But that being said, in the name of consumer rights and right to repair and all that is good, Valve is even going above and beyond what I could ever fathom or even ask of a company. Normally, if you are a third-party manufacturer and you want to make accessories for a Nintendo Switch or a 3DS or a PSP or an iPhone or whatever else, you don't get to just call Apple and say, hey, Apple, can you send me over the blueprints for your iPhone so I can get my tolerances correct? You have to measure and extrapolate or 3D scan or collect
reverse engineer,
collect the data yourself, and then build a product based off your own collection. And that's pretty standard for a lot of case manufacturers and accessory manufacturers. Valve is doing this a little bit differently. If you want to make a case for the Steam Deck, here's the CAD files to do so.
You just
knock yourself out. And not even just, a carry case. Let's say you wanted to build your own shell with custom, hand grips and, contoured for you and you alone. There's the CAD files. Modify them to your heart's content.
That's right. You could basically print out your own case for it.
Right.
Print out your own shell for it, however you want, your own pattern.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool because one of my main criticisms, again, I haven't been hands-on with the Steam Deck, but one of my main criticisms is it's kind of large and bulky. And one thing that...
do you have yours already?
No, I don't. I have not received hands-on with a Steam Deck yet. I do have a very early reservation. I have a Q1 reservation. And so I don't think I'm in the first shipment, but I think I'm like 2 weeks after
Getting
that.
Up there.
Anyway, one of my criticisms was if this is supposed to be a portable gamer, it's a little bulky for that. Like especially the hand grips. Now I'm sure it's fairly comfortable to hold on to. But are the ergonomics exactly the way they should be, or is this thing actually, I know it's not pocketable, but when I'm traveling on a plane, is this something that I'm going to throw into a laptop bag?
Yeah. It's
a lot of space. If you consider, do I take my telephoto lens or my Steam Deck? Like, it's getting up there. The ability to have the CAD files and literally print your own custom enclosure.
That's awesome.
That's...
I want to make the hand grips like brass knuckles, so you can just put your hands, slide them right in there, and just go. So it's like brass knuckle grips.
Am I going to beat Linus to the punch on this and say he's just going to make one out of solid gold again?
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
He goes instead of well, you could do brass
Yeah.
instead of gold. You can afford brass, right?
I could do brass. I've got a
do
CNC
brass.
machine here.
No, brass knuckle SteamDeck.
That might be kind of fun to see if my CNC machine out in the garage could be precise enough to machine out of brass a SteamDeck enclosure.
That would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. I don't know if I want to spend that much money on. I mean, brass is cheap, but it ain't that cheap.
No, it ain't that cheap. I mean, it's not like $20 worth of brass.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a little more than that. But you know what? It would be pretty cool to have a nice shiny brass case for your SteamDeck.
Yep.
Oh, I know people are gonna have some. They're gonna figure out ways to make like all chromed out SteamDecks and stuff like that. It'd be cool.
It's just a surface map. None of the inside geometry is included, according to Sea Turtle over on the
Yeah, I
Discord.
wouldn't think that it would.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But hey, you're halfway there.
Yeah, you're halfway there.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a 3D scanner here. Could probably take care of most of the rest of it.
Yeah.
But you would be able to mold a case around the shell with it. Right. Yeah. And I mean, you can make a carrying case, no problem. But like I said, I'd be curious if someone could make a replacement enclosure and what that would
For the
look
whole
like.
thing, yeah.
Next on Craft Computing, brass knuckles to discipline Rhett. I have more sinister ways to handle, employee discipline. So
Yeah, he's got whips.
Yeah. Whips on whips.
No, doesn't work on Rhett though. He kind of likes it.
Right. In other news, and again, in a step forward for the consumer and consumer rights and the right to repair, bravo.
Yes, bravo. Another great move by them.
Another great move forward, and something that should be embraced by, let's just say, everyone, manufacturer and consumer alike. Valve is partnering with iFixit to sell official SteamDeck replacement parts. These are OEM, the original parts that you would purchase as part of a SteamDeck. Let's say a ribbon cable broke, or you dropped it and you ruptured the heat pipe on the heatsink, or your vibration motor goes out, or you need a new D-pad. Order one. Install it.
Yeah. I wonder, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be to the point where, I mean, I don't think you could just like build your own. You just order the parts from them and build your own, print out your own enclosure, put all the pieces together. I mean, they should have, like you were talking about, you were, because you can print this thing out, you can put all these other replacement parts on it, and you were complaining about the name. It should have been Steam Theseus's deck, because they can replace so many of the parts.
Did you get to bed on time last night, Steve?
No, I did not.
Dual Bearded Tech says, haircut looking good, Craft Computing. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Let's just say I was a little uncomfortable with this haircut at first. Not that it's a fantastic haircut. This is my first professional haircut in right around 2 years. Like I went March 11th, 2020 and I remember the day of my last haircut, at some establishment, March 11th of 2020 until February 14th. I got it cut on Valentine's Day.
Nice.
Yeah.
A love cut.
Yeah. And this was actually a barbershop that I found, and they did a fantastic job. I mean, the fade is just awesome. But this is the first asymmetric cut I've ever had. Like it lays weird when I wake up in the morning. and I actually have to do something with it. And it's cut with a style in mind, and I've never really had that. I mean, I've been to a barber before, but it's been like 5 years since I've been to a barber shop. So going to a barber who just went, yeah, you need to do it like this. I went, okay, cool. And
have they get you to buy some hair product too, or
no, he just goes,
No?
"What's your routine?"
Like,
and I said, "I like to wake up in the morning, take a shower,
and do nothing.
and then hand comb it to one side. Like I wake up and I kick it left." And he goes,
Yeah.
"You need to kick it right. Kick it right. Trust me."
You need to kick it to the right, bro.
Yeah. He goes, "You need to kick it right." And that's why I'm here. So you tell me what I need to do. And he goes, "Yeah, you can still do that. Don't need any product or anything like that. I'll make it work." I went, "Sweet."
Nice, yeah. No need to upsell on any moose or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, I got a spiked haired Jeff. Well, it'd be kind of fun
Yeah.
for a day. You can get a little moose in there.
Yeah.
Some frosted tips.
I can make
some
that work.
Spiked hair. Yeah.
You know what? I made it all the way through the 90s and aughts without frosted tips, and I don't think I need to go back.
Ah, you haven't lived unless you had frosted tips. They're great.
Do I need to call your wife and make sure you make it to bed on time?
She's not home. She's not home.
Okay. Oh, man. As long as it passes the wife test for the haircut. I walked in and my wife goes, "I think that's the best haircut I've ever seen on you."
Oh,
And I went, "Well, hello.
there you go.
What are you doing tonight? Do we need a fourth kid?"
Yeah. Oh, wow. So I'm trying the Tom Peterson beer. Actually a big coffee flavor on this thing.
Yeah.
Even though it's got a light color.
Wow. Yeah.
It is a lager, so it's expected to be light, but man, it's got a big coffee flavor. I'm surprised. That's not bad.
Pull a Brian Brushwood and go spiky hair. I'm not doing the Elmer's glue look. That's actually how he did it. He did a video on how he used to spike his hair, and he would take Elmer's glue and like hold it up and spike it like that, and pull up individual strands, and turn them into cones that were like this tall. Like that used to be how he did his hair.
That kind of had, I think, John one time, a long time ago, for a Halloween party, he came as a troll doll, like the troll dolls with the hair.
Yeah.
So, and he still had his long hair back then, and so I helped him do it. I basically hung him upside down and took a can of hairspray and a blow dryer and just bundled his hair with one hand, just doused it with a bunch of hairspray, and then dried it immediately with the hairdryer, and then let it go. And it did. His hair stood straight up like this, like a troll doll's hair. It was hilarious.
That's amazing.
I think it only lasted like a couple hours before it started flopping over. But yeah, it was good for a while.
That's good.
I think I have a picture of it somewhere.
But no, Elmer's glue will make it stick straight. Yeah. So next time he wants to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody wants to put glue right in their hair. Yeah. It's like a great idea.
Elmer's glue washes right out. It's water soluble.
No, it does.
So,
and it also makes it look like you're peeling skin off your hand. Too.
That's right.
Of course, everyone's did that trick.
Right.
Yeah.
Who didn't like that trick?
Who did? That's awesome.
Right. Anwar, what's your favorite go-to IPA? Remember, this is the guy in Forest Grove. So, local. Steve, what's your go-to local?
Oh my gosh, my go-to local for a good Northwest IPA would be Boneyard. A Boneyard Hop Venom.
Yep.
It'd be like one of my absolute favorites that are here. And then if I see it and I'm like, a lot of times that or RPM. Boneyard RPM is also another good one. If I see a tap house and if they have it there, that's probably if there's one that I have not tried, I know that's a good one, and I'll usually go for that one, either the RPM or the Hop Venom.
Yeah. Cryostash. Who makes that one?
Cryostash. That's Hop Valley.
Hop Valley. Yeah, they're out in Bend. Hop Valley.
Actually, I think they're further south. I think they're like Ashland or something like that.
Are they?
I think. I don't think they're Bend.
They were Bend. Hop Valley Brewing.
Valley. I'm pretty sure they're further south.
Springfield.
Than Bend. Okay, Springfield. Yeah. Oh, good. Wow. They're not even as far south as.
Wow.
They are as far south as Bend, but they're more east.
Okay. Yeah.
West. I mean.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, wow,
yeah. Hop Valley Cryostash. That is my go-to. Inexpensive. You can find it in most grocery stores, Safeways, 7-Elevens, etc. It's usually between $2.50 and $3.50 for a tall boy for a pint.
Yeah.
And delicious. That is one of my favorite Go-To IPAs.
The Hop Valley is my favorite variety pack.
Yeah.
Like when I have people coming over and we're having a party, and I want some beer that is fine for everybody to drink.
I'd go Ninkasi over the Hop Valley pack.
Really? I go with Hop Valley because they always have their staple. They usually have Cryo Stash in there, which is good. Yeah. But they always have an extra one that's new.
Yeah, they've got Bubble Stash.
They'll do the Bubble Stash, they'll do Panda Stash, they'll do a whole bunch of them. But there's always something different. So I know that there's something there that everybody will like, but there'll also be something new that I would like to try. So that's why I always go for the Hop Valley variety pack.
Yeah, see, Ninkasi does the same thing. But they have, in their standards, they have Dawn of the Red, which is their hopped red ale, which is fantastic. They have Tricera hops, and
which is good, yep.
Steady Orbit are their three kind of staples in that pack.
Steady Orbit is I think one of their newer.
It's one of their newer ones, but it kind of took the rotation over. Gosh, I don't remember what the other one was that used to be in that pack. But they have another one in that pack now, and their seasonal right now is Citra Orbit, I want to say.
Citra Orbit. Oh, okay.
Citra something.
Yeah, I don't complain about.
It's a Citra hop.
Ninkasi's. Yeah. Ninkasi's variety pack is great too.
Right.
It's fine.
Right.
But I think they're a little more expensive than the Hop Valley one is, though. I'm not 100% sure.
I think they're a couple dollars more. Yeah.
But they're like just a couple dollars difference. It's not huge.
Yeah. People in the Discord are recommending Gorilla Adhesive Spray.
For your hair?
For your hair.
I doubt. No way. That stuff is bad news, man.
Yep.
That's the stuff that expands after a while too, right?
Yeah.
So you start out with a spike, but then you end up with an afro.
It's an aerosolized cyanoacrylate glue. So it's super glue on steroids.
Yes, it is.
Gorilla Glue is super glue with the accelerant already in it.
That's right.
Yeah.
What about Vortex IPA by Fort George? That's okay. That's not.
I like
not my favorite.
I
like Fort George. I like their Christ Knife is good.
Christ Knife.
And they do every year they do their the three-way IPA.
Three-way IPA and Magnanimous IPA.
Yeah, always interesting, their three-way IPA, because it's something different every year. They use a collaboration with a different brewery, and they do different hop profiles. So I tend to like the three-way IPA.
Yep. But no, yeah, most things from Fort George are fantastic as well. Like, you can't go wrong with a Fort George beer.
No. Fort George is great.
Yep. All right. Speaking of all that beer chat.
Yes.
Now. Dang it. Really, for the second week in a row, this is going to sign me out of my Google Sheet. In the middle of a show.
Oh, so you don't know. In the middle of a show.
Yeah. There we go. My security is too tight. There we go.
There we go. It's back in.
Speaking of good beer, you know what else is good? Today's video sponsor, Linode. Today's episode of Talking Heads brought to you by Linode. If you ever needed to host your own servers, whether it be for home or business use, but don't have the resources to invest into hardware, power, cooling, or even space, why not let Linode host them for you? If it runs on Linux, it'll run on Linode. That includes the software for most of the tutorials on my channel, like how to run your own ad blocking, recursive DNS server, VPN gateway, your own cloud-based Plex server, and more. With shared CPU plans starting at as little as $5 per month and scaling up to as high as you need to go, you'll be able to find a hosting plan that fits your needs. Even if you do host your own servers, you can use Linode to keep a backup off-site. Because remember, RAID is not a backup. Linode also recently announced they are the first alternative cloud provider to have NVMe block storage available to all customers. In September, they began rolling out NVMe drives to all 11 of their global data centers. Best of all, storage rates will remain at the same low price they always have been. Visit linode.com/craftcomputing and get a $100 60-day credit when signing up for a new account. That's linode.com/craftcomputing, and thanks again to Linode for sponsoring today's episode.
Thank you, Linode.
Thank you, Linode. Steve was getting thirsty.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, someone posted the on the Discord here. Someone posted some of the Valve deck.
Oh, nice.
CAD drawings. Yeah, look good.
Very cool. Yeah, it's not often you get a peek behind the curtain at things like this. Right. Yeah. And it's even less often that you get a peek behind the curtain legitimately. Because we've all seen the Nintendo source code leaks. We've all seen, dumps from various, nefarious ongoings of the internets. But getting to just straight up look at the blueprints for the housing for the SteamDeck, it's pretty cool.
I would think just overall, Valve as a company has been probably one of the more consumer-friendly companies, offering support for mods to games, to an area to put reviews and community participation with their discussions and forums and everything like that. And then now with the hardware that they're putting out, they're allowing basically the same thing where, hey, here's the printout, here's the CAD drawing, go ahead community, do what you do best and make something neat out of it.
Yep.
Because honestly, that's going to when you take a device like that and personalize it yourself, that's going to be the thing that you use. Yes, there's a lot of, like Nintendo, the Switch is a handheld thing, but if you have a handheld device that you personalize yourself, you're going to tend to use that service more than you are the other ones.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a smart move in their part, and it seems kind of counterintuitive, but I think it's actually a real smart move.
Right.
And it's very, very consumer friendly, and I think people are really gonna appreciate it and glom onto it.
I've been saying for a long time that a lot of companies are so it's the stepping over a dollar to pick up a dime. You're screwing over your customers because you want to monetize literally every aspect of a transaction. It's BMW, being BMW, that is charging astronomical amounts for repairs and whatnot on, things that should be commodity items for a car. And unless you're someone who buys a brand new BMW, drives it for 5 years, and then gets rid of it, that's great because you've probably only ever had 1 or 2 problems with a car over the last 20 years. If you buy a 5-year-old BMW, good effing luck. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, like the German cars, they're great, but good God, do you never want to handle maintenance on one of those?
Yes, I know.
So the fact that Valve is coming out and just giving the blueprints away and making available all of their parts through iFixit, that's just fantastic.
That is great. Yeah.
It's a consumer win, and it makes people want to buy from Valve again. Yeah. Versus I've had a number of different vehicles, some of them not all that old, that I've had a series of bad experiences with. And every time it's more money out of my pocket instead of the vehicle manufacturer making it right. And guess what? I don't want to buy that brand car anymore. Yeah. You soured that relationship instead of just taking care of it.
Yeah, it's Valve is working as a consumer-friendly company that makes people want to use your service because of that.
Right.
And as opposed to like, well, we have the lion's share of the market, therefore we can do whatever we want. They haven't even done that. And as far as like PC gaming going, yes, they have competition. There's GOG, there's Epic and stuff like that. But instead of locking themselves down and trying to crush the competition, they're stepping it up and making it more customer friendly and making it that, well, people don't want to leave. They can. I mean, Epic's trying really hard by giving away 1 million free games. Just like, and I mean, I have an Epic account because of that. And guess what? Every single game in there except for one is free games that they gave out.
Right.
So.
But hey, it only cost them $4 million to make a paying customer out of you.
Yeah, well, actually, the game that I didn't get for free was a game that I got from free someplace else. So I still haven't paid a dime off of Epic.
All right. I do have I did receive a package today.
Oh, nice.
And so I wanted to open that and kind of go over beer mail.
Whoa, beer mail! Can't drink any of it.
Beer mail. Yeah, I can't drink any of it right now. But I might as well go over it. This is from John J. Very good friend of the channel.
Oh, John J. Thanks, John J.
Thank you, John J. Let's see. From Southern Tier Brewing, it is the cold brew coffee Pumpkin Nitro Imperial Pumpkin Ale.
Southern. Okay, so Southern Tier puts out pumpkin every year, but I've never seen the Nitro before.
Pumpkin Nitro Imperial Pumpkin Ale, 8.6%.
Now I don't know if you like the pumpkin beer, or did you get sick of the pumpkin beer the one time that John basically did a tap takeover in his tap house with everything was pumpkin beer?
I like pumpkin to a certain extent.
Right.
It is so overdone. Mm-hmm. It's often not done well. Mm-hmm. But I like a good pumpkin pie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to gorge myself on it though. I'm not the kind that, from August to late October is like, oh my God, give me pumpkin spice everything. No,
right.
That's
I'll
have a piece of pie with my Thanksgiving meal. Like, I like it.
Angie absolutely loves the pumpkin beer, and actively seeks out pumpkin beer when they come out. We still have some flying around here somewhere.
Woohoo! I love this can art. Holy crap!
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So this is from Treehouse Brewing. It's a double IPA juice machine.
Okay.
JJJUICEEE machine.
Treehouse is one of those breweries that are a lot like Great Notion.
Yeah.
Highly sought after.
Great Notion, Anchorage. Yeah. So yeah,
fairly new too. I think they're only a couple years old.
Another one from Treehouse. This is the Double Shot Technicolor Imperial Stout, 10.8%. We've got a unlabeled from Trinity Brewhouse. These ones are always a little bit scary because this one
is handwritten at the bottom?
It's handwritten at the bottom.
Okay.
And it just says pumpkin.
Oh.
Now, the reason I say this is usually a scary can to get from John Jay and Trinity Brewing is they do some like hand canning there, and they'll sell you this can. The last one that I got was a strawberry ale, and it was 17.5%.
How was it?
It was phenomenal.
Oh, good.
From what I remember.
Okay, because once you got towards the end, you forgot everything, right? 17.5%.
I do remember I had 2 beers on Talking Heads, and then in the after party, usually what I like to do in the after party is just pour myself a little snifter of whiskey and just kind of sip on that, and that's my evening. Two pints and a little snifter over 4 hours, not a big deal. Well, I had my little snifter of whiskey, and then John Jay convinced me to open the strawberry ale.
Oh, and then that's when all hell broke up.
So after a night of already like I'm drinking, I'm loose. I had a 17.5% strawberry ale.
I've had those evenings myself,
and a full pint of it. From Lord Hobo Brewing, Doom Sauce Black Double IPA.
Oh, you know what? I don't see much anymore. There's black IPAs.
Black
or dark
IPAs, yes. Black Double 7.8.
They were like all the rage a couple years ago. Then all of a sudden, nobody wanted to drink them anymore.
From Newport Craft Brewing and Distilling Company, Malasada Stout, Imperial Stout with milk sugar and cinnamon bun extract, 11%.
Wait, cinnamon bun extract?
Cinnamon bun extract is what it says.
So did they get cinnamon buns and then put them through a juicer? And then
I don't know, but
how do you get cinnamon bun extract?
I don't know, but I'm here for it. Is what I'm going to say.
Okay.
From Single Cut Brewing, very interesting can. This is the Razzle Dazzle Razzle Drone Double Dry Hopped Imperial IPA, 8%.
8%.
Yeah. Okay. They really went for the double dry hopped Imperial IPA, which I don't think they should have because it's still only 8%. Like if you're like at 10.5, yeah, you can give the double nomenclature to both, but don't.
Well, I don't know if it's double as in double malt, or do they mean double as in double dry hop? Because you can dry hop something twice,
right?
To give that extra hoppy flavor.
It's DDH, so double dry hop.
Okay, so it's double dry hop.
Right. And then
as opposed to double, as in like they doubled the malt.
Right. And then Imperial IPA, IIPA. So they're talking a big game for an 8% beer, so we'll see how that one delivers.
We'll see. Yeah.
And again, from Single Cut, this is Softly Spoken Magic Spells IPA.
Oh.
What's funny is this is 8.6%. This is a bigger beer than the last one.
and it's not a double.
It's just IPA.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, John Jay. I look forward to drinking these in another month.
When your doctor says
my doctor says okay.
See, you just got to bring those with you on your next appointment, and then the doctor will see that treehouse and be like, "Yeah, you can have that."
Yeah. Ooh, we got a $25 super chat from Tech Geek.
Oh,
thank you.
Missed that one. Thank you, Tech
Sir. I'm off to bed because work. Have a great night, guys. If you put this toward the SteamDeck hunk of brass, I want my name engraved on it. Is this similar this similar to an NFT? Like I'm selling you the naming rights to the brick of brass? Like
yeah, you could donate. Your name will be etched on the brass casing.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
That's how you can fund it.
I'm just gonna start selling SteamDeck NFTs. Like
there you go.
I think that's the way to fund my drinking habit.
Well, that's you know what though. Then you can actually give them the physical object.
There you go.
Something.
Yeah, but why would I do that? I mean, it's my SteamDeck.
Yeah, but you just give them the encasing. That would be it.
Oh, there you go.
That would be the only thing. That's the only thing they get. They still have to buy the deck themselves.
Yeah.
How come they don't have like okay, NFTs are basically just pieces of art on a blockchain or pictures or whatever on a blockchain.
Yeah.
Now, you could do a physical object with something on a blockchain too.
A physical object is potentially fungible though.
Yes, that's true.
The thing.
Because it's non-fungible.
It's non-fungible NFT, token. Yeah. And so the token itself,
you can fudge it because it could be worth something besides the yes.
Correct. And so
well, you could take a picture of the physical object and then just give them the picture of the physical object and say you own that, but it's not going anywhere.
But it's still only the receipt for the original object.
It's only the receipt for the original object, yes.
It's not...
You can't do anything with that original object. It'll still sit there, and you could still say you technically own it.
And the picture of it, you still don't own the picture.
It's like when you got late Christmas gifts.
You own the metadata to the picture.
Yeah. It's like when someone bought you this and it didn't get shipped in time for Christmas, and they cut out a picture and they give that to you for Christmas.
Right.
Say, this is what I got you. You got me a clipping from a catalog? Great, thank you.
Thanks, Grandma.
That's good.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to get into the next story, very, very much so, but I want to grab my next beverage real quick because they're non-alcoholic. I didn't want to let them warm up because screw that noise.
Yeah, so. It's most likely it's going to be better cold. I don't know of any other, outside of alcoholic beverages, room temperature beverages that are non-alcoholic, I don't know of anybody that's like considered to be good. I don't know of anything that's either you drink it hot or you drink it cold if it's non-alcoholic.
All right.
I don't know of anybody that drinks things non-alcoholic that's room temperature besides like beer.
Yeah.
Or whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah, room temperature liquids just
but like you want whiskeys and stuff like that, you want those room temperature. Some people like them cold.
Right.
But a lot of people will like them neat at room temperature.
Right.
And there's some stouts that people like room temperature.
Right. Stouts are like stouts and whiskey is pretty much the only beverages that I can think of that I prefer at room temperature.
Right. I don't know of any non-alcoholic drink that you want served at room temperature.
Right. And even most alcoholic drinks
I would like a nice tepid Pepsi. Right. It's like no one says I want my root beer room temperature. That's the way I like it.
That's the worst.
I know.
Tastes like acid.
It's either warm like tea or coffee or hot cocoa or something, or it's ice cold. Like you want your soda cold, you want your water cold, you want your juice cold.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sake, although sake is usually heated. It's not room
But no,
temp.
sake is also alcoholic. I'm saying a
Right.
non-alcoholic.
Right.
Like I understand the reason for wanting a room temperature alcoholic beverage because yes, there's different flavors that you get from it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never seen somebody like take a room temperature Pepsi and be like, I could just taste the aroma. Is the dye number 5, the red dye number 5.
Dr.
is
Pepper,
really
you want to
through.
get all 23 of those flavors.
Yeah, you want to get all 23 of those flavors. Yeah, exactly.
Earl Grey, lukewarm.
Yeah, Earl Grey, lukewarm. Exactly. No one says that.
All right. For my second beverage, I am drinking a Zentopia Chill. It is a pineapple seltzer. 0 calories, which is not usually a great telling for a beverage, but 50 milligrams of CBD.
Oh, nice. There you go.
So,
you know what actually I really enjoyed when I was doing the dry January was the hop waters.
Hop waters are really good.
Hop waters were excellent because it felt like I was drinking a beer because it had very good hop forward flavor.
Did you try the Klausthalers? They're a German imported hopped water.
No, I did not.
They are fantastic. They are so good.
Is it really?
Yeah, you can get them a couple of the not chain grocery stores around. I think you know the two that I'm talking about. You can get them there.
Yeah. Okay.
And Klausthaler. They're fantastic.
Okay, I'll have to go look for those because I'm actually thinking about making my own. I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about just making my own hop water because it's not that hard. You could get hops around here. It's super easy.
Yeah.
You just steep them in water for a while and you got hop water and you just got to carbonate it,
right.
which I have all the equipment for that.
Yep.
So just finding the right combination that I like is going to be, and then I could just put it on tap. I could have 5 gallons of hop water. Just, so if I want a nice non-alcoholic 0-calorie tasty beverage,
yep,
got it right there on tap.
Yep. Yeah, no, I often do those instead of sodas because
even when I want to do like a gin and tonic or something like that, I'll tend to go for the hop water over the tonic because sometimes even now the tonic is a little too sweet.
Yeah.
And the hop water's got this like crisp effervescence that just goes really well with that gin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lagunitas hop water is fantastic. It's probably the more readily available ones, but I found one that has some mango infused water with some hop in it that was absolutely delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a few others that were pretty standard on the same realm of like Lagunitas, but I'm just going to try making my own.
Yeah.
Let's see how it turns out.
Yeah. Next story. I'm super excited about.
Okay.
This has been a long time in the making. I've been following this story for quite some time. It feels like 7 or 8 years is when I was tuned into it. And they had a fairly large announcement this last week. So I wanted to talk about it. And that is the comeback of the DeLorean Motor Company. Mm-hmm. That DeLorean Motor Company, DMC out of Texas.
With less cocaine.
Right. Well, I prefer thermal paste anyway. But DMC, DeLorean Motor Company, is making a comeback with an all-electric vehicle that is the original DeLorean. It is made from the original negatives and shells and molds of the original DeLorean. They are delivering a stainless steel body, gull-wing doors, same interior, but electric drivetrain.
Nice.
Now, the reason I'm excited about this is because I've been following this for quite some time. Like I said, I think I first stumbled upon this project in like 2013. Back when Tesla was starting to make a name for itself for something other than the Roadster, which was just a rebranded Lotus Elise with an electric drivetrain. So yeah, you got that classic gull-wing door, stainless steel body panel, totally 80s. And they're trying to make a comeback. What makes this unique and why this story is so interesting is DeLorean, when they went out of business, they were sold to various holding companies. And most of the assets of DeLorean Motor Company have just been kind of held up in the ether.
It's still there, yeah.
Right. In 1997, I forget the guy's name, but a guy purchased the original assembly plant in Texas for the DeLoreans. When he took ownership of that plant, he found all of the original molds, or most of the original molds for making a DeLorean, a DMC-12, and new old stock of doors and chassis and internal framings and buttons and switches and
as far as I recall, they had enough old stock that you can custom order a DeLorean, a whole DeLorean, and they would build it for you.
Yeah, for a while you could buy a brand new DeLorean for $45,000. They were selling them, and you could order one. And I went, that's really cool. They started doing the selling the DeLoreans right around like 2008, 2009, something like that. Perfect time to get into a luxury car business.
Of course.
But they always had their eye toward possibly doing an electric vehicle, because the DeLorean is the car of the future. And so it should be electric, right? Even back in 2008 or even back in 1997, they were thinking this. Fast forward to about 2014, and they start showing off a couple of prototypes to Motor Trend and the like, and taking test drives on a track with an electric drivetrain DeLorean. And they were super cool, and they said, we're trying to build this. We're trying to get approval again and start building cars right here in Texas again, and deliver the exact same car that you remember as the car of the 80s from 1982. But in an electric version. And here they come.
That's right. But of course, that kind of like blows away the whole plot line for Back to the Future 3 at that point.
Right.
Because if it was an electric vehicle, then he would have no problem getting up to 88 miles an hour at that point.
Yeah. Oh, and the original drivetrain, like, everyone always thinks the DeLorean is a sports car.
No, it was not.
It was an anemic V6. And 88 would have been sketchy at best. And I think it had like 115 horsepower from the factory.
Yeah, it was just a cool-looking car.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
It was a cool-looking grocery getter. Not a sports car, not sports handling. Now, a number of modders over the years have done, what doesn't get an LS swap. And,
right, exactly.
And whatnot. And I've always thought that'd be really cool to have a DeLorean with an LS swap, but even more so, a DeLorean with an electric drivetrain. All-wheel drive electric DeLorean that can do 250 or 300 miles, and 0 to 60 in that 4 to 6 second range. Like, that's what I wanted to see out of this car. That's what we're gonna get.
I hope so. Now, no word as to when they're supposed to have it out.
No word on pricing, no word on availability, pre-order, whatever.
Just a teaser that it's coming.
Yep. But timeless look.
What was it back then? The Phantom. I don't know if you remember the Phantom console. They had a bunch of teasers and a whole bunch of things. It was teased around I'm gonna say 2004, 2005. And it was supposed to be a PC oriented console.
Oh, right. Okay.
And they had like all these, and they had all this kind of PR. They're like, this is what we're doing. It's gonna be great. Yeah. And they had pictures of it and promos of it, but they never announced availability and they never announced pricing, and it never came out.
Let's see. We did get a 1,000 yen super chat from Elmist over in Japan. Thank you very much. He's been watching quite a bit lately. Rip to the Y1 Lira SV315, gone but not forgotten. It's actually right there still. I haven't had the heart to move it yet.
That's why it's not forgotten.
Right.
It's right there.
Gone but not forgotten. Join the Patreon so Jeff can buy a new server. Yes. That would be helpful.
Yeah. One that doesn't smell of electronic burning.
Yeah. What was funny is I had so if you haven't seen the video yet that I posted earlier today, I killed the server behind me. Not to spoil the ending, but completely my fault. And what ticks me off is I knew better. I knew better than to do what I was doing, and I did it anyway. And I went, maybe it'll work. No. So I had the extension ribbons, and I went, well, if I cut the finger off, it'll fit perfectly into the slot, and nothing will interfere, and it should just be a PCI Express X16. So simple as that, which is a great theory. But there's nothing to stop you from plugging in. It's electrically, or this physically, it's the same. It's just longer. And so anyone could have done this. Anyone could have plugged in the wrong PCI card to this thing and it would have fried. So I just happened to plug a card in. But because I cut the tail off with a Dremel, we already smelled a little bit of that burnt electronics, because that's usually the burnt PCB that you're smelling.
Yeah, the after smell.
Right, exactly.
Still lingering, yeah.
And so I had cut that and put the riser card with no card attached to it, just the riser card in, and tried to power on the server, and it went, and I went, oh shoot, something's shorting out. And so I unplugged it and unplugged a couple of things and plugged it back in, and still nothing working. And right about that time, we got a little bit of a bigger whiff of that burning electronic smell, and I'm like, there's no way that just plugging in a passive riser cable blew this thing up. There's no way. And then I picked up the PCI card, and I smelled it a little bit, and I'm like, it smells a little bit. I put my nose down to the PCI slot. There's your culprit. Something blew up. No explosive fanfare, no sparks or anything like that, but
no fire. Oh, too bad.
But telltale, you know that smell. You know that smell. If you're watching this show, you know that smell.
Anybody who's worked with electronics and experimented with them have experienced that smell at one point in time.
Yep.
Or you've never learned anything.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's magic smoke that makes electronics work, and once you let it out, you can't put it back in.
Yes.
I let it out. So that's what happened.
The Phantom. I got a $5 super chat from Scott. If you say the Phantom and don't follow it with of the opera, I will shout Billy Zane in whatever room I'm in. 100% just did that alone at home. Yes, Billy Zane was the Phantom in the movie The Phantom.
Yep.
But there was a planned console based on PC called The Phantom.
Yes. All right, we got some beer news to get on to.
That's right.
Starting with a West Coast local story, local-ish.
Local-ish. I think it's all West Coast, pretty much.
Yeah. So Modern Times Beer, based in San Diego, California, has announced that they are closing 4 of their tap house locations.
Yeah.
That includes Portland, Oakland, Santa Barbara, and Los Angeles. So Modern Times will stay centered in San Diego, but they are closing their northern West Coast tap houses.
Which is a real bummer, because I really enjoy Modern Times.
Yeah.
They do a lot of the big bourbon barrel age stuff. Mm-hmm. They do a whole bunch of stuff. And one of the other things that I read in this article is not only are they closing a lot of these things, is they are also ceasing distribution into the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
So not only is their tap house closing down, you won't be able to go to a bottle shop anytime soon and pick their stuff up. You're going to have to be able to get Modern Times from services like Tavor and other beer drop type of services.
Yep.
Which is unfortunate, because Modern Times was one of those breweries that I would see their beer and I'm like, you know what? It's a big beer. It's reasonably priced. It's got some interesting ingredients. Let me try it. And I've normally enjoyed just about everything they cranked out.
Yeah, no, they're one of those brands that you could just go, that's probably going to be good. And
their Monster Park series is excellent.
Yes.
I mean, their Monster Park stuff is really, really good.
Yep.
And so I'm going to miss them, and I kind of bummed because I never got to go to their facility up in Portland. And now it's gone. Well, I think it's going to be gone by next week is what they said.
Yeah. But oftentimes when moves like this happen, it starts to be the beginning of the end of breweries.
Yes.
I mean, you don't increase your revenue by shrinking your geographic distribution.
Right.
So
and it could be one of those things where they expanded too fast too soon. And I've seen a lot of breweries do that too, where like they have a modicum of success.
Yeah. And
they open up breweries in like 5 different locations all at once. And then it just doesn't doesn't quite work out, and they have to shrink back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of impossibilities that it will survive and it will continue on, because places like Left Hand, who they kind of went through the same thing. They had to shut down a lot of locations, and they drew back a lot of distribution and stuff like that too. But they're still cranking stuff out to this day. A lot harder to get a hold of their stuff, but they're still putting stuff out there. So I hope Modern Times doesn't go away, because I really do enjoy their beer. But it's just sad that it's not going to be as easily available to a lot of people in the Pacific Northwest.
Dual Bearded Tech says, just joined the Patreon. First sub anywhere. Thank you. Thank you for jumping in. 2 drink minimum. No.
Yes.
No, it is it's a good time. It is a great bunch of people. What are we up to now as far as count goes? I think I know we average about 350 active users per day. We're pushing 700 as far as
in the Discord.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's doing really good then.
Yep.
No, it is a great place. And like Jeff said, I'm there, John's there, Rhett's there. All the people who normally chat during the live shows are there.
Yep.
It's a great place. A lot of fun.
Yes.
And we always have the after party too. Always a fun time.
Yep. Yeah. About 30 minutes after the live show here, we will jump on to the Discord and do live video chat with anyone who happens to be awake at that ungodly hour.
Yep. Yeah.
10:30 p.m. Pacific time.
I'm usually on 20 minutes after, because it takes me that long to pee after the show. Right. It takes me that long to empty it all out. But yeah, no, it's a good time. So I highly encourage some people. Just $1 a month. No big deal.
Yep. Anwar sends over $50. Thank you so much.
Man,
cheers, guys. Enjoy some beer.
I am indeed. In fact, I'm almost done with my Tom Peterson beer, and it's making me have a happy, happy day.
Wake up! Wake up!
Yeah, so for the people who didn't hear before, and I know some people here do know who Tom Peterson is, but the people who don't know who Tom Peterson is, I believe if you go to YouTube and search for his name, you will find some of his commercials. And they are probably the most 90s and 80s looking commercials you've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah, even for Portland, which was about 10 years behind the times anyway.
Oh, yeah.
They were very 80s. Okay. A malevolent ghost is accused of shoving a pint of beer off a table in a 300-year-old pub. Steve, do you care to explain this one to me?
I just thought this story was so funny. Okay, so looking at beer news, this one kind of popped up, and apparently, somebody thought there was a beer, a pint of beer, sitting on a table, and there's people all around, and they do have video footage of this.
Yeah.
And the beer just all of a sudden just falls off the table, and the proprietor of the establishment went out and was like chewing the guys out. She's like, "Why did you guys spill the beer?" It's like, "Well, we didn't do it.
Yeah.
So she went back and looked at security footage, and sure enough, no one touched the thing. It had just fallen over. And she swears that she sees some kind of blurry image or something blurry moving over the glass before it fell over. So, I don't know if you believe in ghosts or not. I don't know. Some people do, some people don't. I looked at the video. To be honest, okay, that glass was awfully close to the edge of that table.
Yeah.
The part that I thought was funny is that the beer that was spilled was Coors. So
nothing of value was lost.
Nothing of value was lost, obviously. So either ghosts prefer Coors and they just can't get it and they get so frustrated they spill it, or they absolutely hate Coors and they just like destroying it.
Just picture that ghost still hung over from 30 years earlier.
Like the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze. He had to concentrate really hard to make something move.
Yeah.
So you must really, 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 really like that beer to make it move, or you must really, 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 really hate it to make it move.
Yeah.
So, what ghosts prefer? I don't know. I'm thinking Coors. My bet would be on that.
Are
So
ghosts
if you're gonna go,
are ghosts just compression artifacts amidst B-frame? Could be
that too. Yeah, it's probably just compression artifacts, to be honest. Honestly, that's what it looked like to me. You can go check out the link, and in the link, there's another link to the actual video.
Yes.
And and the bad part is it's not a direct copy of the video. It's somebody filming the screen that's playing the video, which makes it even worse. So this is not the greatest of evidence, but yeah, it's interesting and kind of fun nonetheless. It's kind of a fun little story.
Yep.
So if you ever find yourself ghost hunting,
sorry about that,
and you want to attract ghosts, just crack open a can of Coors and see if more come around.
Yep.
See if you get some of those EMFs or whatever. EMPs? EMH? I don't know. Electric voice phenomena. EVFs? I don't know. EVPs.
Emergency medical hologram?
EVPs is what I'm talking about.
EMH, emergency medical hologram?
Emergency medical holograms, yeah.
Please state the nature of the medical emergency.
Electronic voice phenomenon.
Mm-hmm. Crux Fermentation Project.
Crux Fermentation, a brewery that's near and dear to my heart.
Yes.
I love Crux. One of my favorite breweries down in Bend.
Yep.
They are
getting into whiskey.
A lot like Rogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rogue ales and spirits, for those who don't know.
Although this is the only thing that they've announced, and we've talked about Rogue spirits in the past, and how much we kind of enjoy them because they have a particular Pacific Northwest flavor to them. But this is interesting because it's a straight bourbon whiskey.
Yep.
It's 100 proof, so this is not anything small. This is a big boy drink here, but it's from Crux. And I don't know what's related to beer about this. I'm guessing that after they sell these whiskeys, we're going to see some Crux beers that are aged in these barrels.
I'm sure we will, because that's kind of their style.
That's exactly their style. So we're going to see the full circulation of grain into whiskey, then into the barrels, then the beer into the barrels, and then
I will say, as good as Rogue is, it kind of feels like cheating when they do a barrel-aged stout and a stout-aged whiskey.
Yes, I know. Well, that's why Crux, they were jealous of them.
Right.
So they're like, we got to do this too.
Yeah. In fact, I have a bottle of the Rogue stouted whiskey, which basically is their Rogue bourbon whiskey that aged for 4 years. It's a straight bourbon whiskey. That they then took out of the barrel. Then they aged their Stouted Thunder Imperial, or their Raging Thunder Imperial Stout in the whiskey barrel
not that bad.
for a year.
Yes, it's pretty good.
And that's a special variant of their stout there. When that was done, they took the stout out of it and put a batch of whiskey back into the barrel. And took the beer back out of the
They're just like, let's keep this party going.
Right.
We're just gonna swap things back and forth.
But like I said, it feels like cheating. Like they moved it 20 feet.
Like the egg in Tampopo. I don't know if you get. Okay, never mind.
But yeah, no, they do some fantastic stuff there, and like I said, vice versa. Like they have just their standard stout, which they will empty their whiskey barrels and age their stout in that. Now they've got a barrel-aged stout, and it feels like cheating.
Yes.
As fantastic as it is, it feels like cheating.
They didn't say, though I was kind of reading, they said 100 proof, but they didn't say how long.
It's a 4 year.
This was aged.
4 year.
It was a 4 year. Okay, so they're doing 4 just like Rogue. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I didn't read that.
It's on the bottle.
There's
a 4 now.
Well, that's. Why would I read the article then? We just read the bottle and get all the information.
All right. 25 minutes left, and we can get into Star Trek news.
Oh man, that's right.
Yes.
I still have another beer too. Look at that. Yeah.
All right. So this one's a little a little esoteric. This one's a little odd. But I wanted to bring this up because it's one of those things that is so easily brushed off, but also don't hate on your fans. Don't attack your fans. Don't go after your fans. Don't DMCA your fans for posting screenshots of a trailer, which is exactly what happened. So there's a Twitter account called the Trek Central, excuse me, that is currently suspended. Now, why is the Trek Central suspended? What could they have possibly done to anger Paramount CBS? Well, the most egregious of offenses, they watched the release trailer on a public stream for Strange New Worlds, and they took some screenshots from that publicly available trailer and posted them on their Twitter. Not copied video, screenshots to discuss it in a journalistic standpoint. Much the same that I'm doing with the Trek Central Twitter page right now. I am rebroadcasting a still image.
This should be falling under fair usage.
It's fair use because I'm
adding commentary to. You're not displaying it like this is your product. This is hey, this is my Star Trek thing. No, you're taking a screenshot and saying, "This is what I think about it."
Right.
Yeah.
So, the owner of that Twitter account goes by Captain Jack, who is a 12-year veteran on YouTube. Like he's been around the block. He knows fair use. He knows how to do all that. And he's pretty upset right now, and agreeably so, because here he is trying to promote or at least cover the trailer launch for Strange New Worlds, which is a much anticipated Star Trek series coming out here shortly. And he gets DMCA'd by Paramount, and Twitter suspends his account for Millennium copyright violations.
Which is very weird.
And
the weird that
and very Nintendo-like of them.
Twitter, well, I mean, I haven't seen that sometimes, because I know that with Twitter, they can't police everybody, so they probably have some automated algorithms that will shut you down based on how many reports something had, and then they will review it if you protest based on that. So I would think that it's probably going to be within the day or two, maybe hopefully reinstated, although I'm looking right now and it's still suspended. That just seems weird to me. I don't know. I don't understand it.
And this was 3 days ago, I want to say.
Was this really 3 days ago?
Sunday or Monday?
Now the Strange New Worlds trailer, it wasn't like some kind of private event. This was a publicly available trailer.
Publicly streamed trailer. Yep.
Yeah, we were just talking about how Valve is like great with their customers. This is the exact opposite.
Yeah. I do like the memes that are being posted about it, though.
Oh, yeah.
Attention Viacom CBS. Attention Bajoran workers. This is your illustrious leader, Gul Dukat. Yeah. You wouldn't screen cap a public event. But yeah, this was the 14th is when this went down.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, they haven't rectified the issue yet. I guess there hasn't been as much of an outcry as there is, but it does seem really strange that just they would ban somebody from screenshots.
Yeah. Yeah, it's stupid. It's an overreach. It should be corrected. But hey, what do I know? I'm not a television studio.
Is CBS hosting the trailer on their site only, or is it on YouTube or something?
That I'm not sure. I know the trailer is available on YouTube. I'm fairly certain.
Okay, then if that is, I don't understand. I don't understand why they would why they would do something like that. Who knows? Who knows in the world of Twitter?
Let me see if it's on.
I'm sure somebody in the chat's going to tell me really quick.
No, it is not available on YouTube.
Okay, so maybe they have it somewhere else.
But even still, it falls under fair use for
it should
using it the way they were using
fair use. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Unless somebody screwed up and it wasn't supposed to become public and they're trying to like cover their asses.
I guess the trailer is still live though somewhere, and it's publicly accessible. So,
is it?
According to Captain Jack.
I guess he doesn't want to link to it, but let's see. Strange New Worlds trailer. Let's see if you can find it.
But this was not a small Twitter account. This was 75,000 followers.
No, I know. The Strange New Worlds teaser trailer. So we're not talking about the teaser trailer. We're talking about the actual
trailer. Right.
Well, the teaser trailer
the most
here on
recent
YouTube,
one. Yeah, the teaser trailer is 11 months old. This was one that launched with the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I can't tell if this is the one. It says teaser, so I'm guessing not.
Yeah, the teaser's 11 months old.
Looks like a bunch of crap from Discovery, which I'm not a big fan of. Okay. Yeah, I don't really. Oh wait, Star Trek New Worlds official tease. No, it's a teaser trailer. Yeah. Maybe, and this is just speculation here, is that it may have it may have been just supposed to be for the Super Bowl and that was it, and it might have gotten leaked someplace else. I don't know.
Yeah, but even still,
it
falls under fair use.
That's exactly right. If it was broadcasted during the Super Bowl and it was publicly available in any kind of format, you should be able to screen capture that and be able to talk about it.
Yep. We do it with every website we ever talk about here on the show.
Exactly.
I try not to play live video. In fact, on the next article, it was playing a live video that had some Star Trek imagery on it, and I went, I don't want to get hit with CBS Viacom, so we'll just nix that. Anyway, for those who love to hate new Trek, there's a new old Trek coming out. A new Trek coming out. This is the Kelvin-universe of Chris Pine fame. And this one is due out December 22nd, 2023, so almost a full 2 years away.
Almost.
But it reunites the majority of the Chris Pine crew. That is Zachary Quinto, Chris Pine, Simon Pegg, Carl Urban, Zoe Saldana, and John Cho. All of them have signed up, and apparently it is now in production. So we will be getting a brand new Kelvin-universe Star Trek show. Whatever you think of the universe, we're still getting one. I will say, and I've said this a couple of times, I love the way that they did Star Trek 2009, the reintroduction of the Kirk timeline.
I thought the first one was really good
because they paid homage perfectly to the last one while also carving their new niche and explaining it in canon why it's new. You know what? That's perfect. You can't piss off anyone doing that.
Right. They did it right.
And then they just rehashed Wrath of Khan in number 2, and I'm like, oh, come on!
Yeah, I know. They could have gone their
Write
own way.
Your own story,
thing.
For God's sake.
They wanted to do a Wrath of Khan that wasn't Wrath of Khan. Okay. You cannot.
And instead, we got a species bent, like.
I know.
Like you had Kirk drawn up to be even more of a badass because now he grew up without a father and he's got a chip on his shoulder, even more than James T. Kirk had. Yeah. And whatnot. And you have Zachary Quinto, who now has to deal with the loss of Vulcan and everything else. So he can be a little bit edgier and whatnot, which we got a slightly edgier Spock in Star Trek 2. Or Into Darkness, I guess it is. And instead what we get is Kirk doing the species flipped thing with you have and always will be my friend. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
That is not Kirk in any universe.
No. They should have left it alone because I have a real soft spot in my heart for the original Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
Ricardo Montalban, the best Star Trek movie, in my opinion, that's out there. Still, we talked about this.
First Contact would like a word.
First Contact's okay.
No,
Wrath of Khan's still better.
First Contact would like a word.
It's good. No, Wrath of Khan's better.
Sorry, Wrath of Khan. Is that the one with the whales?
That was a good one too, but it doesn't have Ricardo Montalban. Without Ricardo Montalban, you got nothing. And that's why Into Darkness. I mean, I like Benedict Cumberbatch. He's a great Doctor Strange.
Yep.
But he's no
Khan.
He's no Khan. He's not a good Khan. He doesn't even look like a Khan.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah.
But yes, I did like the 2009 one. The reboot was a great way of doing a reboot.
Mm-hmm.
It paid homage to the original, but it explained why things were different. They actually explained why things were different, and you still got the essence of the characters were still there, and it was fun. I mean, yes, there were a ton of lens flares in there. It was everywhere, but okay, well, it's their style. It was still a fun movie.
Yeah.
But the two after that, it's just not that great.
Beyond was awful for.
Yeah, that was not good.
There were so many leaps to make in that movie.
Yes.
Like, why was Kirk driving a Harley Davidson that they found on this planet that just happened to have the carburetor tuned for that specific atmosphere and oxygen?
Oh yeah, it was totally fine. Yeah,
like you found an old derelict spaceship that you got running. Okay, I'll believe that one. But
yeah,
why are you literally surfing this old ship on a wave of drones that's exploding because you're playing Beastie Boys Sabotage? Like, for God's sake.
Come on. That was really bad.
Awful. And any problem that can be solved with, we just beamed them into space, is not a good plot point for a Star Trek show.
No, it is not. Yeah, I was not impressed with the next few movies.
Yeah.
This one is supposed to be helmed by the same people who did WandaVision,
Mm-hmm.
which I quite enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
WandaVision. So I have some hope for it.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll have to see what they crank out and how they make it work. But
waiting for Star Trek O'Brien. Yes.
Yeah, Star Trek O'Brien.
Yeah.
I don't know. It can't be any more. Hopefully, it's not any more. I don't know. Did you watch the last episode of Book of Boba Fett?
I did.
Did you? What did you think of that?
I enjoyed it. Did
you?
Yes.
I did too. It was fun, but it was ridiculously eye rolling.
Oh,
it was so I was laughing and rolling my eyes at the same time. That whole spin and shoot.
The memes are great coming out of that one.
When I first saw that, I just about fell off the couch.
There's only so much
stupid it was.
now.
Look, all they had to do was have Boba Fett riding the Rancor. That's all they had to do.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do anything more.
Yeah.
Once you saw the Rancor and see him talking about it,
Yeah.
you knew that was going to happen.
Right.
That's what the fans wanted to see. That's all they wanted to see.
Right. Now, I will say, I enjoyed the Book of Boba Fett. It's definitely sub-tier from Mandalorian.
Yes.
It also had a sub-tier budget from Mandalorian.
Well, it also had some episodes of the Mandalorian.
Right, it also had 2 episodes of Mandalorian stuck in the middle of it. The ending battle was incredibly drawn out.
Yeah.
And had
and a little silly. Come on, it was
and a little silly. But sometimes Star Wars is a little silly, and that's okay. And so the campiness of it didn't make it less enjoyable for me. What made it less enjoyable was just how long it was. Because you only ever see like 18 people in the entire episode.
Right.
Yet we're meant to believe that 48 people died on either side.
That was a budget limitation. You can tell.
And so I tried to ignore that aspect of it and just accept it for the story that it was telling. And the story was overall pretty darn good.
It was okay. Yeah, it was okay.
Right.
I mean, I know a lot of people are asking about spoilers and stuff in here. Okay, fine. I will try to make it as spoiler free as possible. I did like the first couple of episodes because it did go into a lot of his backstory.
Yes.
Especially about how he got out of the Sarlacc pit. But there were some nonsensical things in there. Mainly, so one of them was, he I can't. I don't know how I can do this without giving any spoilers away. Sorry.
Well, don't give any spoilers for the final episode, but I think.
Well, not for this final.
Okay.
This is nothing to do with the final episode.
Yeah.
This is something to do with the middle.
Yeah.
He crawled out of the Sarlacc pit with his armor on. You see him coming out with the armor on.
Yeah.
Why did he, once he got Slave One back, why did he go back to the Sarlacc pit to look for his armor?
I don't think he had any recollection of how he got out.
That could be. I mean, that seems kind of a little far-fetched, though.
Because remember...
I mean, the only reason he survived the Sarlacc pit was because of his armor.
Right, he survived because of his armor.
And so the only reason he'd be able to get out of there is because of his armor. But
as soon as he got out of the Sarlacc pit, he collapsed.
Yes, I understand. He was collapsed.
He collapsed in a heap and was torn apart by Jawas.
Yeah.
And then beaten within an inch of his life like a dozen times by the Sand People.
Yeah, yeah.
He's not all there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I get that, but it just seems like a huge plot hole to me. And then the other part that I didn't like, and this does have to do with the last episode, was he has Jabba's palace, right? Highly defensible area with giant doors that are not easy to penetrate.
The girl convinced him to stay because...
Yes! Yeah. Because she drives a colorful scooter? Why did he listen to her?
I liked the scooters.
No, the scooters were
dumb. I liked the scooters.
They were so cheesy.
So?
I mean, I get there would be like a subculture within like Tatooine.
Why wouldn't there
be? Teenagers of the time.
Right.
Okay, I get that.
I was
kind of 50s thinking, greaser type of thing.
I was thinking of this earlier today. I was thinking of why is it in Star Trek and Star Wars equally?
Yes.
An entire planet can only do one thing. And what I mean, by that,
talked about that.
What I mean by that is they go to Risa to relax on the beaches. Risa doesn't have a casino district. It doesn't have high rises and enterprise. It doesn't have a trading depot. It doesn't have a spaceport. It's just beaches and hookers.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
What is that?
Star Wars is really bad about that.
Right. Well, Star Trek is too. Think about it.
Yeah, Tatooine. Oh, we only got deserts here. Yeah, we got a whole planet of deserts.
We got two suns and one great big dune sea.
We're going. Yeah, exactly. We're going to the Dagobah, where it's just a whole swamp planet. The planet's all swampy. Just one big swamp.
Right. You've got Hoth, which is the frozen planet. You've got Coruscant, which is one giant city. Which I'll buy. Coruscant's the one giant city.
Right. I get that. But I mean, like, you don't have any planets that have like deserts and forests and all kinds of things.
Right.
There's a lot of sci-fi does that. That's like
this planet is this thing.
One that I actually have been watching lately and it just started up again was Raised by Wolves. It's an HBO show.
Yeah.
But they actually do it right because they have parts of the planet that are more hostile. Like this is the temperate zone. If we make it to the temperate zone of the planet, it will be much more forgiving than the outskirts, which is like rocky and horrible to live in and very hostile.
The comments are great right now, by the way.
I haven't been following.
Beach hookers for the win.
Beach hookers.
Earth is only Los Angeles. No, correction. Earth is only San Francisco.
Yeah.
Risa Industrial and Manufacturing. Nope, can't do it.
Nope. Their only export, their only industry is tourism and prostitution.
Yep. Let's see. Only swamp. Kashyyyk was all one giant forest.
That's true. Kashyyyk was only one giant forest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So was Endor.
Naboo was the most diverse planet. Yeah, because they had the forests above ground, and then they also had the orbs below it, and water going through the planet core. And
they also had sand, which he hated. It's so coarse; it gets everywhere.
There was no sand on Naboo. He was on Tatooine.
He was talking about it on Naboo. How he hated.
But he was in a wheat field when he was talking about how he hates sand.
Yeah, but they probably got sand somewhere on Naboo.
I'm sure they got a beach somewhere. I'm sure they got hookers somewhere.
They oh yeah. Well, I mean, she dressed like a geisha. I mean, come on.
No magnetic field on Naboo. That is true. We're a Star Trek family here. Earth is definitely San Francisco. It's exactly right.
Of course.
Someone got the reference. Thank you.
I think there was a few times in Star Trek where they referenced going to other places, but they never showed them. It was all San Francisco because that's where the Federation headquarters
Look at
was.
Kronos. It's like one giant freaking volcano with temples all throughout.
Yes,
it.
that's true.
Like,
that's true. It's like
a planet can only be one thing in a sci-fi show.
Well, okay, Kronos makes sense because Klingons are, hardcore warriors, hard built. So
you don't have farmers.
No, there's no.
You don't have markets.
Eat,
you don't have a casino.
You might.
How do you get your blood wine? Who makes the blood wine? Someone's got to farm the grubs. The gak.
People.
Where do you get your gak from?
The Klingon warriors who are not that great of a warrior. They end up flunking out of warrior school, minoring in Klingon winemaking and gak cookery. Because they're just not great warriors.
Yeah.
They just can't hack it. So that's what you get. So there's still an industry.
I like the ogre from Lower Decks. I love to read.
Yeah. That's kind of why I like Lower Decks quite a bit, because it kind of explores the other aspects of things like that.
Not everything is
and
A or B.
Humorous. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But no, I agree with you that a lot of sci-fi really does planets horribly. It's always just one type of planet. It's never a diverse a biome or whatever. Like it's always just one thing.
Rev says they showed New Orleans or New Orleans, excuse me, when Sisko visited his dad, and by New Orleans I mean they showed tight shots of alleys on sets in Los Angeles.
Yes, I know. Well, it's either LA, San Francisco, or Vancouver, I think, is kind of like the main shooting locations.
Yep.
I mean, Chateau Picard is supposed to be in France, right?
Right.
Yeah.
On your chateau.
Chateau Picard.
And they've also got that rock formation that was both the Gorn planet and where
Bill and Ted died.
Where Bill and Ted died, and it's where Voyager was dropped when the Kazon took over Voyager.
It's a very famous rock. It's my brother's been there several times in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hiked past that rock several times.
Yeah. It's also where Raffi made her home. That's where she was living the derelict trailer.
That's right.
Yeah. On your chateau.
Chateau Picard. Well.
This was quite good.
Any other?
It's
you like that?
Very simple.
I didn't talk about my Imperial peanut butter cup.
Yes, how was that?
It is quite good.
Yeah,
actually.
That was a peanut butter milk stout, right?
It's a peanut butter milk stout.
Okay.
10%, and I'm starting to feel it right now. But it's
Vasquez
very creamy.
Rock. There it is.
Vasquez Rock.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you, Rev. Go ahead.
It's very smooth, very creamy, and has a fair amount of peanut butter flavor to it, but not overpowering. Very balanced. Has a good chocolate flavor, good peanut butter flavor. Yeah, it's quite excellent. I mean, they got the little peanut butter cup with the crown on it. It's about right, man. Tastes good. I'll chug this down my throat any day. There we go.
There you go. Nice.
Very good stuff. Highly recommend if you guys like peanut butter stouts. Only complaint, it's a little on the boozy side. But
I could go for that right now.
Like people who just chug whiskey, you know what? That's not really a detriment. Come on. I like things tasting a little boozy sometimes.
Yep. Oh, excuse me. It's been a long day. Well, does anyone have any questions? We got like 5 minutes left.
Yeah, some people were saying about the Expanse showing. Well, the Expanse stays in our solar system for the most part.
Right. And of course, if it shows Earth, it's going to show multiple climates.
Well, they did do a pretty because that's Earth. And of course, the other places, Ganymede and stuff like that, all the space stations are space stations.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think they did show some scenes that were on some moons, but those are known, atmospheres. They know what the planet looks like, so those could be modeled. When they do go through the ring, they do explore other planets, and it was just this last season that, well, then not this season, and a couple seasons before, they did show alien planets. Although they were taking place in a small, limited area, so you don't really know if the whole planet is like that or not.
Right.
They don't really say one way or the other. But, well, most of Expanse takes place in outer space anyway, so it's just like, that's pretty good.
Yep. What's your thoughts on GN showing up at Newegg's door? I'm not going to comment on
We talked
any
about
form
that,
of
yeah.
drama.
Yeah.
I did state on my Discord server earlier today, because people wanted to know my take. Steve had a bad experience. He's heard about others with bad experiences.
Yes.
I myself
have
have not had a bad experience as a customer of Newegg. I did have some interactions with Newegg PR on the business side of things for craft computing. They weren't the best with communication with me, and there was enough kind of like going, I don't want to jump through all these hoops, that I just decided not to work with them. And it wasn't really even for a negative reason. It was just because I felt, to me, it wasn't worth the investment on my end of things. I've been invited to be on their podcast a couple of times. I've been invited to be a featured guest on live streams and whatnot. And a couple of times I've responded, and I just haven't heard back. And so it's like, screw it. Like, I got other things to do. So I have no real negative things to say about Newegg myself, but myself is anecdotal. And
that's true.
So,
I mean, me too. I mean, I've never had any problem with Newegg personally. But then again, I only order from them like maybe once or twice a year.
Right.
So,
I mean, they used to be 1A, 1B with Tiger Direct back in, the late 2000s, early 2010s. Then Tiger Direct fell under, got bought by CompUSA, went down, came back up. Like, Newegg it is for like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
In fact, as late as like 2016-17, I was buying almost exclusively from Newegg. And then Amazon started getting way better with keeping things in stock and getting tech stock. And Amazon's been kind of my one-stop shop since then.
Yes. Especially since they're being as competitive as Newegg is.
Right.
I mean, prices normally are 1-to-1.
And yes, I know Steve is going to Newegg. I'm not going to comment on that situation. That's asking for drama. I try to avoid the drama. So.
Yeah, I shopped at Newegg before they were totally online, because Newegg used to be Egghead Software.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah. Because Egghead Software used to be you could rent software from Newegg Software.
Yes.
You used to be able to go there and rent stuff from them.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Wasn't it Egbert Software?
No, I think it was called Egghead.
Egghead, excuse me. Egghead. Yeah. No, there was an Egghead where I grew up, and in fact, I bought.
Yes, there was an Egghead in Clackamas.
Yep.
I used to go to quite a bit.
Yep. Yeah, there was one near where I grew up. I bought some of my first giant software purchases there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was that, and there was because I
Software Etc. was the other one.
Software. Well, there was one in Salem that I used to go to quite a bit. That not only rented PC stuff, but they also rented Amiga software. And that was Pipeline Software, and I used to go there quite a bit because they had a big Amiga library, and I can go there and just rent Amiga games and then copy them and take them back.
Yeah. One thing I will say on the situation is the motherboard in question from Gamers Nexus was an open box item. Open box items are typically sold in resellable condition, maybe with some missing accessories, and they're usually at least visually inspected. At some point in the process, that probably just didn't happen, and a motherboard got sold that was defective. as the customer of said board, it's also your responsibility to check items that you receive. And do your due diligence and not let it sit in the box for a month. I don't know the timeline. I'm sure someone does, and I'm sure Steve has documented it, but I'm not sure the timeline of Steve receiving the item and then sending it back to Newegg, in which that happened. I don't know. What I will say is any box that arrives on my door, I immediately open, because I did a lot of shipping and receiving in my last job with $100,000 purchases. You inspect things when they arrive, and you do your due diligence and respond with great urgency if there's something wrong. Because if you report an issue 4 months later, it's kind of your issue at this point.
Yeah.
Now, again, I'm not speaking on the timeline, but if you buy an open box item and you don't inspect it and then you just send it back, it kind of feels like you're asking for trouble. Now, again, that's anecdotal. That's my own opinion. Should Newegg have done better? Yes, absolutely. But yeah, it is what it is. So there you go.
There we go.
Dang it! They talked me into talking about it anyway.
Well, it was a small comment, but it wasn't like a big stance.
Yeah. So when you buy something from a company, especially if you buy refurbished, open box, etc., which I often do to find deals.
Refurbished, you got a crapshoot there. No
right.
matter what.
Refurbished, you usually don't get your warranties. You're lucky if you get 90-day, and it's on you to act as quickly as possible if there is a problem. You don't open the box and you return it a month, 6 weeks later, and it comes back as damaged. Guess what? That's kind of on you for not reporting the damage when you received the item.
When you received it, yeah.
But it wasn't a one-off. I know it's not a one-off. I know it's not a one-off issue, and I know Steve has heard about more issues.
I've heard of like egregious issues from Newegg where people literally received an empty box, and they try to be like, "Hey, I received an empty box," and they're like, "No, you didn't."
Yeah.
Our records say that we sent it out. And I'm like, yeah, your records could be wrong though.
Yeah.
And they just refuse to like look at it. So
right. And here's the deal. Scammers usually get found out pretty quick. And scams happen all the time. Shockingly enough, customers lie sometimes. Quite often, actually.
Sellers lie, customers lie.
Exactly.
Both.
As a legitimate customer, it's still partially your responsibility to take receipt of an item and inspect it for use. And something as simple as taking 2 minutes to open the box and look at the pins and go, oh, the pins arrived bent, and then sending an email that day for an RMA, that avoids this entire situation.
Yeah.
At least as far as Steve's experience goes. Doesn't nullify other issues that I've heard of from Newegg that have cropped up over the last couple of weeks. But it is what it is.
Well, I think it also could be that Steve has created the grievance room. So like there's probably been like grievances throughout this whole time, but the fact that it's so high profile that this huge flood is coming in now.
Yeah.
But, I'm sure like because Amazon has third-party sellers and I'm sure there's people scamming systems there too. I'm sure Amazon has similar policies.
Yeah.
It's just that there hasn't been a big enough brouhaha about the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah. Bearded Tech says I had an RX 550 show up damaged and they refused the whole thing. If you receive something damaged, if you bought it on a credit card, just do a chargeback.
Yeah, just
do a chargeback and call the company and say I need an RMA for this because I'm not paying for a broken item.
That's 100% why I buy everything online with a credit card.
Yep. And so that is your consumer protection on your side. That is your credit card company working on your behalf. Is you have that option. So very few people take advantage of that. I've had to use that a couple of times because I've received items and they were broken. I've had to do this from eBay purchases. I've had to do this from a couple of retail purchases where something arrives damaged and I report the damage and they say, well, you accepted the package, so it's your deal now. No, it's not how shipping and receiving works. So, yeah. Inspect your packages in a timely manner. Report issues in a timely manner. And if the seller will not play ball with you, you have consumer protection as well. Yeah,
that shows your due diligence.
Right.
I mean, if you do it right away as soon as possible, that's your due diligence, and that shows your earnest effort to rectify the situation.
Correct. And again, you've got UFD chiming in with his experience with Newegg and miscommunications and breakdowns there and non-responses. Honestly, that was part of my experience with Newegg, and I had emails from those same two people that he mentioned, D and A, in his video. So, yeah, there's a reason I didn't work with Newegg, is I wasn't all that thrilled with the back and forth, the communication, the pre-business business dealings. And there was also issues with their commission sales or their affiliate links where they had their own affiliate links and then they went to another company and then that company just like suddenly dropped them and then brought them back up. And it's like, I'm not going through the rigmarole for the money that I'd get off their affiliate links. So I've just never done Newegg affiliate links after that. I think I did them for like 2 months. And then in those 2 months,
just nothing
they were available on one platform and then dropped. And then they said, oh, we're available on this other platform. And so I signed up for that other platform and they said, never mind. And then they dropped and then they came back up and it's like, I'm not playing this game. Because the links still worked. They still sent you to the product, but for some reason now you don't get the affiliate sales because you're using the old links, not the new links. No. So, yeah. Shady, not shady, I don't know. Too much work, that I do know. So, yeah. Anyway, I think that's... The onus shouldn't be on the customer. The customer has some onus in the transaction, though. The transaction's not complete until you receive the shipment, accept it, and there's no issues. If there's issues and you don't report those issues in a timely manner, the onus is still on you.
Yeah.
There is personal responsibility in a two-way transaction.
As a company, to think that the customer is going to be 100% altruistic about everything 100% of the time is foolhardy.
Right.
There's scammers out there who will scam a company just as much as there's companies out there that will scam the customer. Both consumer and companies have to be, do their due diligence on both sides.
And as George says, it doesn't take that long to open a package.
No.
I receive dozens of packages a week. I open every single one of them the day they arrive. For this exact reason. So, there you go. That's all I'll comment on the situation. I'm not going to comment on him flying out. I'm not going to comment on Newegg's response because I'm not involved. So. But I can take the consumer protection aspect. Anyway, this has been episode 223,
Yay!
Right? 223?
Yep,
yes.
223, yes.
223 here on Craft Computing, Talking Heads. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this one, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to Craft Computing if you haven't done so already. Follow me on Twitter for daily shenanigans. Follow Steve on Twitter if you can find him.
You can find him.
If you can find him. Dude's a ghost.
Yeah.
But he is there.
I am there.
Kind of like Jack Sparrow, but you have heard of him.
I'm more on OnlyFans than I am on Twitter.
Right. He's more into other social media, alternative platforms, as we say.
Alternative, yes.
Yep. Anyway, new videos always coming out. I'm hoping to have another new video on Saturday. And we should be doing 2 a week at least from here on out. Think about joining the Patreon if you want some behind the scenes access, exclusive content, and the opportunity to chat with myself, John, Rhett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, plus a bunch of other creators that like to hang out there. We've got Techno Tim, Jeff Geerling, Lawrence Systems. They're all Ian Cuttress. They're all
they all hang out.
They all hang out in my Discord.
Yeah,
which should tell you it's the best darn Discord around.
Yeah, exactly.
So, thank you all for watching. We're here every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time for latest in beer and tech news. And as always, we will see you next week.
Next week, guys.
Cheers, all.
See ya. Bye.
There we go.
Oh, we're out.
Out.
Okay.